Listen to Desert Radio from wherever you are in the world by streaming live on stream.namibian.com.na. Desert Radio, the bold voice.
There's been quite a number of other countries that are pushing to join the grouping, and we hear that there were about 20 applications. So some of the countries that will now make a BRICS Plus coming next year are the Arab Republic of Egypt, Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Islamic Republic of Iran, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates will become full members of BRICS. So those are the ones that are going to be added on starting in January. Well, to unpack this all-important issue and see whether South-South cooperation really does work, or we can actually hope for a day that we do trade internationally without the US dollar is feasible. I'm joined on the line by Economist Dr. Omu Kakujaha Matundu, just to give us a perspective on this development from BRICS. Good day, Dr. Omu, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, good day, Thierry, and thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. So, Dr. Omu, today we are just giving sort of a post-mortem of the recently held BRICS conference that happened in Centon in Johannesburg. Promotion and push for a South-South cooperation seems to be gathering momentum within this BRICS group of nations. And like I said, they've also just added a few more countries that will start in January. So we will be having the Arab Republic of Egypt, Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Islamic Republic of Iran, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the Arab Emirates being part of what is now being termed the BRICS Plus. And we're funnily enough, or weirdly enough, most of the countries that have been added to the BRICS Plus group are most of those ones that are oil producing, and they're actually the top three, some of the top three oil producing countries in the world. So just to maybe break it down, we understand there were also quite a number of applications from several other countries worldwide that wanted to join the BRICS group, but it's still an ongoing process. Is South-South cooperation really practical, and will we actually go to a point where trading within the developing world can be done away from the greenback, Dr. Omu?
Yes. Thanks, Thierry. This South-South cooperation dream is coming a long way. It's not a new thing. So, when you look at the BRICS countries, you'll see those, of course, as you're saying, southern countries, and then you added the other, that is now +6, also countries from the south. So what the whole idea from the beginning was to break the stranglehold that the Bretton Woods system or the G7 countries are having on the world. And with the emergence, of course, of giants like China, for instance, at least the South could have an anger. That is where you can use as a springboard for a South-South cooperation. But as you have said, you are talking about the de-dollarization. That is whether the South can move away from the dollar. I don't think so. It won't happen now. It could happen in some years to come, 10 or so. But as for now, the most important thing is that if the countries in the South can use their own currencies to trade with each other, if they can have that confidence in others' currencies, then they can start. Maybe the RMB, the yuan, the Chinese yuan, to a certain extent, the ruble, the Russian one, but mind you, the West, that is the G7 countries may say, they are ganging up against Russia, and we don't know how that outcome will be and how the world order will look like. But if they can trade that, and if they can also lend to each other through the new development bank, using their own the local currency, the rand or the real or so, that would be a very good thing and a good idea. But let me also hasten to say that, as I have said, the recalibration of the world order, we don't know how things will pan out with this war in the East, that is Russia and Ukraine. But what one could say is that, look, your question was, is South-South going to, is it a dream coming true? Yes, to a certain extent. But the main question is the motivation of the countries to join this new grouping. Some countries, if you take oil giants, as you have said, who are trying to move away from carbon, what I mean is from oil dependency to something else. To them, if you look at a country like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, for instance, they see that putting money into the, say, new development bank or going out to invest in, let's say, Namibia or other countries in all kinds of infrastructure and the like. To them, they see an investment opportunity. But mind you, if you look at countries like Argentina, if you look at a country like Ethiopia, those are countries that are hard-pressed. So their motivation could be basically a window for borrowing, which could, in a way, burden them more with debt. And to come just to the end on this one, Thierry, you see, we are facing an asymmetrical relationship here with giants like India, China, and Brazil, for instance. Yeah, and then Russia, another one. But we don't know how things are going to pan out, as I've said. What you are saying is that you have those strong ones, and then you'll have the Ethiopia of this world and other low-income countries. So what you are going to see is the dominance of China in this grouping. Remember, Peter Tosh had this song, Macadog. Macadog is saying, Sarafi Macadog, it'll bite you. You jump out of the frying pan, you jump into the fire again. So we should be very, very, very cautious that going there, we should not be motivated by borrowing at lower interest rate than at the Bretton Woods institutions. Then we'll again be slaves of the Chinese. I mean, when I say we, I mean Africa, for instance, or the other smaller countries in the world. So it's not that easy. So this is an animal farm scenario where we have some animals more equal than others. So in the South, we also have some who are more equal than others. So it's not a pie in the sky kind of thing, or what I mean is not all rosy. It can also have its own dynamics.
Well, indeed, that is the voice of Dr. Omu Kakujaha Matundu, our regular economist here. We speak to him on several issues. We are unpacking the BRICS group of nations meeting, which is now also has added a few other countries, BRICS plus. Dr. Omu, President Agegengo, whilst he was speaking at the BRICS, he spoke of the need for equality and making sure that even if a trade is going to deviate from the conventional market to actually the BRICS countries, there need to be fairness and equal opportunities for all the members in the countries that will be part of the BRICS. Can that really be achieved? Like you are talking of animal farm here, where other countries are running away from the G7, which have the buying power in terms of buying commodities and goods on the international market and looking towards the South-South cooperation of BRICS. Are we really ever going to get to a point where the trade levels and relations are equal among those ones that are joining now and obviously the new ones that are emerging, which is your Russia, India, China, South Africa?
Yes, the president was, I think he was right in a way, and he knows that. He had been in politics and he knows the political economy as well as international relations, this asymmetric thing or relationship that I'm talking about. But the African leaders, they should wake up if I come back home again. In the African Continental Free Trade Area thing, they should really try to make it work. Because if you as Africa come together and have the strength to produce goods that, or to add value to your goods and products, we are just still going to be in this block theory, and you are very right, we are still going to be suppliers of lithium at the detriment of our own, the green hydrogen at our own detriment also, and all kinds of other rare earth minerals to China, India, Brazil, and other countries. So if we don't wake up and we as Africans make these, or take for instance even SADC, starting with a smaller block, or SACU smaller, and try to see how we can work together and cooperate. South, as you have correctly saying, is it's an animal farm thing. So if we as Africans can really strategize and see how we can reap benefits from this expanded BRICS plus, then you are going to say, well, it is going to be for us. But as President Hage Geingob is saying, and they have said that for the past 60 years, trying level the ground. Who's going to level the ground for you? The other guys, this is basically based on interest, national interest, Chinese interest, Brazilian interest. And Africans, because we are small, we cannot have a Namibian interest, but we can stand together in our own trade blocks and then have a more bargaining power. If you say, no, lithium should not be exported raw, they should come here and put up battery factories, etc. Then you have a bigger voice. What sense will it make if the Chinese can get easily that from DRC or from any other country, if only Namibia or Zim is saying, no, we won't export lithium raw. So, Thierry, you are very right. If we don't wake up and just be asleep and in this slumber of our countries, of just talking, as our president went there and said, level the field. Who is going to level the field for you?
Oh, very pertinent question indeed, Dr. Omu, that you are raising there. If you are just joining us, it's 95.3 FM for those in Windhoek, Dordabi, Rehoboth, and surrounding areas. The program you're listening to is a Talking Business, and the segment is a Money Matters. We are talking to Dr. Omu, just unpacking the post-BRICS Summit. The BRICS Summit was held in South Africa last week. Just the last one before we part ways, Dr. Omu. Just very, very important. Do we have enough buying power within the BRICS groups of countries to be competing with the G7?
Oh, very much so. If you look at China, you look at India, Brazil, you look at Africa as a whole, the G7 countries is just going to be, I don't want to say a dwarf, but it's going to be a smaller market as compared to that one. So if BRICS Plus can really work together and in their wisdom, not marginalize others, but try to cooperate in a way of a win-win situation, definitely, this will be a block to reckon with. The market is huge.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Dr. Omu, for your insights. We will continue talking about these and other issues in the future. But for now, you have yourself a splendid day and keep tuned to Desert Radio.
Thank you so much, Thierry, and bye-bye.
It's been a pleasure. Well, that was the voice of Economist Dr. Omu Kakujaha Matundu, just giving us his perspective on the recently expanded BRICS group of countries. We will now have 6 more countries joining the BRICS group.
Listen to Desert Radio from wherever you are in the world by streaming live on stream.namibian.com.na. Desert Radio, the bold voice.